Neymar da Silva Santos Jr., the 222 million euro signing by Paris Saint-Germain of France, could not make his debut last weekend because of some paperwork. Also, our own Kelechi Iheanacho made a good account of himself last night in the season opener in the English Premier League. Welcome to Limitless Soccer on this beautiful Saturday evening, and of course on this wonderful TV station. My name is Bayonle Arashi. As it is our style on the show every weekend, we are packed with lots of soccer highlights for you today on the show. Welcome to Limitless Soccer. Let me take a quick break and I'll be back with much more information and of course highlights on today's episode of Limitless Soccer. Welcome, and I'll be back. Welcome back to Limitless Soccer. Last weekend, of course, the action eventually began across Europe as, of course, the French Ligue 1 opened last weekend with the season opener in that particular league. Also, this weekend, starting from last night, the most glamorous football league in the world, the English Premier League, of course, also opened up, of course, with a season opener between Arsenal and Leicester City. We might give you the highlight of that game today if time permits us. But of course, we're going to start the show today with the FA Community Shield highlights. Of course, you know the Community Shield is played between the league winner and of course the FA Cup winner. And that was between Chelsea and Arsenal. This has been a very, very long rivalry between these two great clubs. But of course, we have the full highlight of the FA Community Shield between those two English giants today on the show. Enjoy it, and I'll be back. Well, I'm sure you must have a lot to say about that particular highlight. So many drama in that particular game. And of course, did you see the introduction of the ABBA penalty shootout style introduced by the English FA? Which means the team that takes the first penalty will have to wait after the next team takes the second and the third. And many people are already saying that was what affected Chelsea from losing that particular one, because Chelsea took the first one, scored by captain of the day and of course captain of the team for the season, Gary Cahill, but of course lost the next one. Alvaro Morata lost his penalty. Goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois also lost his penalty, shooting it way ahead of Peter Cech in that one. But of course, congratulations to Arsenal for winning the first medal, of course, first trophy of the season in the English League. But of course, the season eventually started properly last night. And of course, so many games will be on today on the show as well, in the league as well. And of course, tomorrow, there will be so many games as well. So, from next week on Limitless Soccer, you will get to see all the latest goals, latest games, and of course, highlights on the show. And hopefully, some of those players will eventually pick up and start scoring goals in the English Premier League and other leagues across Europe. We come back home now to our own Major League Soccer. Last week, Saturday, of course, it was the action between our own Houston Dynamo away at Real Salt Lake. They call them the RSL. Of course, Houston Dynamo has started doing well away from home. This time around, just 1 point from that game. Goalless affair it was between Houston Dynamo and Real Salt Lake. Without too much ado, enjoy the highlight of that particular game. Real Salt Lake City versus Houston Dynamo in the Major League Soccer. And I'll be back. I'm really rooting for our own Houston Dynamo this season to at least make the playoff, and who knows what happens from there between the Western Conference team and the Eastern Conference. We'll see who will win it at the end of this season. Straight, we'll move back to Europe. Of course, on Tuesday evening in Skopje in Macedonia, the champions, of course, met the UEFA Champions League champion and, of course, the UEFA Super Cup champion, and that is Real Madrid, the big team from Spain, and of course English giant as well, Manchester United. That team really looks good for the season, and hopefully Jose Mourinho and his team will go a long way this season in the English Premier League, and of course in Europe, because they will be playing the UEFA Champions League as the winner of UEFA Super Cup. It was a shortcut for Manchester United, but very needed one, of course, for that matter. So we have the highlight of that game, the UEFA Super Cup between Real Madrid and Manchester United for you this beautiful day on Limitless Soccer. Enjoy that particular game, and when we come back, we'll talk about the winner of that particular game. My name is still Bayonle Arashi. Keep watching. Hope you've been enjoying all the beats we've been bringing to you today on Limitless Soccer. Note that this show is open for sponsorship. We know we've been bringing you the best of goals, best of highlights across Europe right here on Limitless Soccer in Houston, Texas, USA. Come sponsor this show. For sponsorship details, kindly contact the producer of the show, yours truly, on the numbers and of course all the social media platforms showing on the screen right now. And I promise you, you will be glad you sponsored this show. As we reach home stretch today on the show, it's time to bring you the German Super Cup highlight. Of course, that was also last weekend. Like I said, a lot happened last weekend across Europe, and that game was between two German powerhouse, Bayern Munich, also called Bayern Munich as they decide to call it, and of course Borussia Dortmund. Of course, Borussia Dortmund were able to keep their talisman Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and he did it again in that game. Enjoy the highlight of the German Super Cup between Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund, and I'll be back to finally call it a day on the show. And if time permits us, we'll show you the highlight of Leicester City versus Arsenal opener in the English Premier League. Well, how time flies. Of course, our 30 minutes, it's up on the show today. It's been my pleasure bringing the show your way. If you want this show to keep showing on this station, and of course you want to keep enjoying our presentation, kindly sponsor this show. For sponsorship details, contact the producer on the numbers on the screen. I can also be reached via social media platform at Midas Soccer is my ID on Instagram, on Twitter, and of course on Facebook. If time permits us, as I've said earlier, we'll bring you the season opener in the English Premier League, that is between Leicester City and Arsenal. But if time does not permit us, we'll bring you that game first thing next weekend. My name is Bayonle Arashi. Special thanks to the production crew of this show. Till I see you again next week, God willing, God bless you, and keep doing sport. Bye-bye now.